is up, Bucs Nation? It is Victory Monday, October 14th, 2024, and you are watching the Loose Cannons podcast, officially part of The 813, which can be found at the813.tv, a website that features all of our episodes of the Loose Cannons podcast, as well as the Fully Loaded podcast inside the 813, and so much more, as well as written content about your favorite team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Make sure you visit that, click around, watch the content we got on there, including daily videos from Rock Riley, myself, Stank, Latte, JC, the whole deal. So make sure you guys click in there, check that out. Also, don't forget to hit the like button on this video on your way out. Leave us a comment, and if you are new, hit the subscribe button as always. And last but not least, make sure you visit our sister YouTube channel, which we will eventually migrate completely over to, which is youtube.com/@the813tv. It is Victory Monday, boys. It's a little bit somber. It's not the greatest of circumstances coming off of what what Florida went through last week, Tampa Bay, Sarasota, the whole deal. But the Bucs travel with an odd week. They go up to New Orleans. They basically make it their home for the entire week, and they come away with a blowout win, 51-27. It was just a ridiculous day. Latte is currently in the dark. Stank has somehow found his way back home. We're making it work. But dude, what a uplifting, end to the week, if that makes sense, right? All the shit that went down, and for us to come away with a victory like that, the players obviously said it meant a lot more to them than just a win, on the schedule. So Victory Monday feels real good right now, and extra special, if I have to say so myself.
It really does. By the way, anybody else just watching Latte walk through the house? That was kind of, I was like, where's he going? What room is he going to next? It felt like the rooms never stopped, Latte. It was like a fucking madhouse or something.
Yeah, I'm not home. I was trying to find an iPad so I can monitor the chat. I'm used to monitor the chat, interact with you guys, so I apologize that I can't interact today. I'm not home, but Sammer put it best. I think we all kind of needed that, and I kind of needed you guys tonight. So I'm just glad to be on and be back.
We're happy that you're here, and man, it takes this thing away from a fucked up couple weeks we've had here in Florida, and then everything else we've all had going on personally. I'll be monitoring the chat. By the way, the chat, as you would expect, is fucking lit as fuck right now. Ava Martinez already donated $9.99 super chat. He said the run game is on fire. The run game's on fire. This team's on fire. Second half Bucs, baby.
Yeah, kind of runs right into the first topic. Liam Cohen's offense absolutely exploded yesterday. Could have been an even bigger day had it been for a few unlucky bounces, maybe some penalties that I really didn't think should have been called. But you know how it goes when you're in New Orleans. They get the home jambalaya cooking no matter what in that stupid stadium. Kind of iffy that it's named after, casino in Vegas. They got the sports book. It's it's a little bit of a gray area for me, but they absolutely crushed franchise records yesterday, boys. They were here, I'll put up the graphic actually, so I don't have to try to memorize it. 594 net total yards, okay, the most in a single game in franchise history. 51 points, the second most points scored in franchise history. 5th team in NFL history have 300 plus passing yards and 275 plus rushing yards in the same game. At 277 of those yards were just on 35 carries, which is a ridiculous per carry average, okay? And of course, second time in franchise history that they had 300 plus net yards passing and 200 net yards rushing. Liam was in his bag. Liam learned a couple of lessons there in the third quarter, but he had Baker on fire. The offense was on fire. These guys were running the ball no matter who was back there. They were blocking the ball. They were getting off the snap. They were just out physicaling a physical team that's usually been the team that punches us first. Third game in a row, boys. We score on the first drive into the end zone. Go up 7-0, leads to a 17-0 jump in the first quarter. What more can we say about Liam, Baker, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans? These guys are all just locked in right now.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll let you blow your load right now, because I have a feeling it's just like one of the biggest loads you ever want to blow. Talk about this offense real quick. Talk about the man, the myth, the legend that is Chris Godwin. Just for a second.
This is insane. I think JC said it best. Write the contract before he even gets back to Tampa. Extend him. It looks like vintage Chris Godwin, right? That 55-yard touchdown, breaks 2 tackles, people just bouncing off of him, running to the end zone, stiff arming people. Just vintage Chris. The offense looked great. The running game was insane. I think Samra put it best. It didn't matter who was back there for the Rashad haters. They run a lot more gap instead of a lot more zone, which they're all more successful in. It was just awesome to see. It was awesome to see. I think Samra might be onto something as far as our center, and maybe move our center to left guard for now. Let him transition a little easier. I don't know. It just looked good. It looked really good all around.
So I was going to ask you guys. I was going to ask you guys that question last. Sorry, go ahead, Lottie. Go ahead.
No, just can't say enough about Baker. And if you want an example of leadership, go back and watch. Go watch that Bucky Irving run. Stiff arm was beautiful. And Mike Evans leading. When he saw that he cut back, leading the cavalry with the blocks, and then out of nowhere, the maniac Baker just goes past Bucky and throws a block. When you see that on tape, who the fuck are you not to block? Who are you not to try? When you see your quarterback out there, by the way, the series after he went into the blue tent because he got hit in the hip or the ribs or something, it was nasty.
Hip.
And then he's out there just throwing his body around, patching up the running back, full fucking speed. He's just
dog.
Dog,
dude. Yeah, he fell on the ball. He said his floating rib felt like it was tucking into his spine. Yeah, he's an insane man, bro. And as he's going into the tent, he sees Kyle Trask warming up over there, and he's like, "Not on my watch. Nope. This is my team. I'm gonna get back out there and throw blocks for my running backs." And the running backs just look phenomenal. It felt like Liam was in his bag in that second half. He had enough of the clusterfuck, the penalties, all the shenanigans that derailed, which would have been 150-0 blowout. We all do agree upon that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, had it not been for Sterling Shepard, I don't even know what the fucking that guy got into him yesterday. I've heard Baker say he's a little loose in the head, and he got a little loose out on the field yesterday, and really gave them the momentum back. Special teams, an absolute train wreck as usual. Whatever. It didn't matter though, because this team, they got punched in the mouth and they smirked, bro. It was like one of those 80s villains, right? You just punch him and you think you landed a knockout blow and he just smiles at you. That's what the Bucs did in that second half. They pulled their gigantic meat out, right? To quote Jameis Winston, sometimes, as Latte has quoted, I think every episode since sometimes you got to pull your meat out. Yeah. We pulled our meat out.
That's not the quote. The quote is sometimes you got to show them who has a bigger one. Sometimes you got to pull out, show them who has a bigger one.
And we collectively, as a team, all 53 guys, the coach, I even saw Liam pull his out. We all pulled it out. We showed them, and then they shrank. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing too is, so like Latte said, what's funny is Tucker is more equipped to run the zone scheme, right? And so they ran it a couple of times with him that way, but the counters, the gap runs, going away from the stuff that didn't work from the offensive line standpoint, allowed them to finally run the ball well. But there was that moment in that second quarter where I felt like offensive coordinators do this a lot. They get too cute. They fall in love with the pass. They fall in love with the powerful, down the field, Chris Godwin, chunk
the
plays.
Reverse shit, the Sterling Shepard. Can we stop those, please?
To where you think, dude, calm down. I think part of the run game's problem over the first 5 weeks of the game has been that we just kind of don't give it enough of a chance because we get too cute. And I was screaming the entire second quarter into the third quarter, run the fucking ball, run the fucking ball, run the fucking ball, calm everyone down and run the ball just to kind of reset. Once Liam learned that lesson, you saw this team change, which is wild because I thought we were a pretty good offensive team regardless, but then it opened up a lot of different shit. Baker calmed down. It didn't feel like hero ball. It didn't feel like he was trying to save them from falling, apart, which they kind of did in the second quarter. 2 bad bounces, like you said. But man, Liam has found a sweet spot in the bag right now. And I think he's understanding that. A groove. He's in this groove now. He understands when to run the ball, how much you really do got to run. Like 10 carries a pop or per person really is not enough if you think about it. Especially if 2 or 3 of those, each one of those running backs gets popped in the backfield. That's not enough to get lathered up. They got lathered up. Sean Tucker's a fucking dude. Okay, we can agree on that. Probably need to see him do it a couple more times. But Liam, MVP of the game is, you could already say Liam Cohen, dude. And we could have scored 75 points yesterday, man.
Hey, and I know people, Baker and the turnovers, 2 of those interceptions were tipped at the line of scrimmage. So, Baker right now is still like on a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, 15 touchdowns, 5 picks. He's on an insane run right now. It's just, what are we, number 1 in the NFL in points? Like, it's stupid. Everyone who questioned re-signing him, everyone who questioned bringing him here, everyone was like, what the fuck? No, Baker Mayfield. There you go. That's what a Heisman Trophy winner looks like. That's what a number 1 overall pick that's surrounded with talent and feels welcomed, and his mind is at ease, and he just loves to be where he is. That's what it looks like. Thank you, Cleveland. Appreciate you.
He's playing within himself too, but second week in a row, he goes, last week was 9 of 9 to start the game against the Falcons. Looked ridiculous. This week, 6 of 6, again, scoring on the first drive. And for him to have that second quarter and bounce back, to not fall apart like we have so many fucking times as a team, and seeing guys like Baker fall apart, Jameis Winston, the guys like that, where if anything goes wrong and it becomes a massive snowball, he bounced back and he showed why he is a fucking MVP candidate. I don't care what anybody says. That quarterback we saw yesterday and the guy we saw in Atlanta, MVP conversation easily.
Sammer, that's a mature quarterback, all right? You got a guy who used to put the weight of the team on his shoulders, always out to prove everybody wrong, always out there to be the hero, and he didn't play hero ball when shit started to go bad. He didn't. Like, that's the sign of a mature quarterback. Yes, 2 of those interceptions were Jameis type interceptions, not necessarily his fault, the guys who like to play those interception numbers, those weren't on him for sure. 1 bad ball the entire game. Other than that, I thought he played pretty much flawlessly.
2 bad balls.
Okay.
The ball into the end zone over the top that could have gone to Mike Evans for a touchdown. That's when I call a bad ball, because if he throws that up where it's supposed to be, that's a touchdown.
I got held there too.
No, not. I'm talking about the one where he's in the end zone. It should have been up top. It would have been a touchdown. He ended up throwing it kind of weird. It was just odd. That was a bad throw. But that was before the interception. That made it 17-0. That was when he kicked the field goal. But
by the way, B-Shuck, we're speaking of meat. B-Shuck put his huge meat on the table, as he always does. And he says, "Thanks for doing the show, knowing what at least a couple of you are still dealing with. Love you, fellas." Yeah, Latte got airboated, rescued from his front doorsteps. If you don't know that, an airboat came up to his front door in a subdivision and rescued him and his family. That's actually the funniest part of his week. If you're Brown,
when an airboat's coming towards you as a Brown guy, that's usually bad news, right? That's not a good. That's not anything good for you in that case. But in this case,
I gotta say too, thank you, my brothers, and thank you, Bucs Nation, everybody who's reached out. I appreciate it. It has been an incredibly difficult time. We have talked and we have gotten emotional on the show before on how we became Bucs fans, etc. And I gotta let you guys know, you would be proud. My brothers that do the show with me and my fellow Bucs fans, I am raising a sick individual and my son. Those of you that know, we had to let my mother-in-law be at rest yesterday. And my son told me, trust, and be assured it's okay. I'm going to be texting you play by play. I was like, Jaden, you don't have to do that. And he's like, oh, but I'm going to. With tears in his eyes. And he held true to his word. I did not watch the game until the fourth quarter. But my son was giving me literal play by play the entire 3 quarters. So I'm raising a sick individual, but a hardcore Bucs fan. So go Bucs.
You know what's crazy, Latte? The last time the Bucs put on a rushing performance like this was in Oakland. Yeah, when the Oakland Raiders were still a thing.
I remember that game.
Okay, that was the only game I have not watched in the last, probably since I was 11 years old. That's the only game I've ever missed, and it was because I was at a hospital for a miscarriage, and I didn't care about the game obviously in that moment, and that was the last time. And so you tell me this story, get a little bit of goosebump action here with your mother-in-law and your son. And then that goes out and happens. And I believe we scored 50-something points that game too, or 49. I can't remember what it was. I never watched that game. So that's kind of just eerily weird and kind of like makes me grin in a good way, obviously not in a bad way. But yeah, dude, I mean, what crazy circumstances. And we end up with pretty damn good Sunday, to be honest with you.
Huge Sunday.
Yeah, pretty damn good Sunday.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about this offense. Okay. We got to give Todd Bowles some love, man. Second quarter didn't look great, but when your offense kind of falls apart, Sterling Shepard, not a veteran, acting like a veteran in that moment. Obviously not acclimated to the Saints Bucs, situation and scenario. Has no idea what that climate's like because he was the one getting baited when all of our guys are like, we've been here before. We understand how this works. But anyway, the offense put the defense in some bad positions. And, next thing you know, the Saints go 20-0 in the second quarter. But Todd Bowles stuck to the plan. Didn't fray, didn't get too worried. Got these guys back on track, and they absolutely dominated from that second quarter, from that halftime basically on. They shut out that Saints offense. They were after Rattler, 3 3-and-outs, 2 forced fumbles, or should have been 2 forced fumbles. The interceptions, they were just everywhere. They're flying in there, creating pressure, sacks. You could see Kalijah Cansey's return. Obviously, Antoine Winfield, massive play in that first quarter. Just crazy, man. Go ahead, Latte. You don't have to do that.
Can me and you take another victory lap, please? Just dance on top of Stank. Not in a stripper twerking way, like, stomp on him. Zion McCollum.
Yeah.
Fucking Zion, cornerback 1, McCollum.
Yeah.
Sam and I told you guys, don't worry. This is what Todd does. He develops cornerbacks. Jamel Dean developed. Carlton Davis developed. And while Dean is limited in the way he flips his hips and all that, I get that. He's limited. But he did improve from his rookie year, the second year, to when Todd got his hands on him, right? Zion. Jesus Christ. Everything we talked about when we drafted this kid, everything you heard about, the shit that never comes to fruition, the athletic ability, the athletic testing, his 3-cone, like everything, his 40, you see it on display. That interception was freaking stupid. He's just everywhere, bro. It's insane. He's so good.
He could have
so good.
He could have had 2 yesterday, actually.
But could have had 2. Yeah. And I'd like to take credit for part of his development. Sometimes you got to have that old vet out there just questioning your game. And you know what? I said, go out there and prove it, kid. And now look what he's doing out there. So, hats off to you, Zion. Listen, don't exhale, though. I'm watching your every move out there. Funderburk went out there and did the same thing. That guy's never played a game before in his life. And he looked amazing out there as well.
Amazing.
No, he didn't.
Hey,
he did his job. He did his job.
He had moments.
He had some pretty ugly moments there.
He also had almost had a pick as well. So.
Hey, how about, and I don't know if this is a subject thing because I haven't seen it, how about fucking getting Kalijah Cansey back and then flashing? How about Antoine Winfield, just scoring? Like, what the what?
Kalijah Cansey suplexed Alvin Kamara.
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
Dude.
Literally.
Literally.
I'm surprised they didn't call a penalty, by the way.
Yeah,
this new NFL.
Very surprised.
He's going to get a fine, though. He's going to get a
Yeah, but how about Antoine first game back in New Orleans? Okay, we hate these fuckers. These guys in the building don't like those guys. It's obviously, you could tell. And first defensive possession, Swiss Army knife Tyke Smith, who, by the way, is kind of like a baby Antoine right now for us, okay? Goes in there.
He's insane.
Peanut punches the ball out, and then Antoine's right there. Scoop and score. Like, so smooth. Like, you could watch that, and that's what you would teach, a young football player. Like, this is how it perfectly happens, but when rarely does it bounce this way, where he scoops it up so smooth, like butter, effortlessly, just velvet down. And he's looking at himself on the replay while he's running into the end zone. And for that to happen, first defensive possession back, dude, I mean, unfucking real. And we were going crazy, bro. It was just crazy. And my kids were going crazy extra because if you remember, Latte, at training camp, he and our kids put together a dance that he would put on when he scored a pick 6. And he said, I'd do it if it was at the end of the game and we weren't losing. Obviously, it's in the first quarter. It's only 14-0. You can't do the dance. You never know what happens. So he didn't do it. But my kids were going crazy thinking they're getting the dance that they designed with Antoine. Didn't happen that way. But man, how awesome is it to come back and stamp your return to this team? That impact right then and there, just like that. And Kalijah Cansey was a fucking monster, dude, the entire day.
You brought his name up, and real quick, before I go and talk about Tyke Smith, people are just throwing money at us. Alvin Martinez, I don't know if Latte can hear, but Alvin Martinez donated another $19.99 for Latte's kiddo, play-by-play. Amazing, Latte. I hope you can hear this. He said, God bless. And then Westside Sports says prayers going up for Latte and the entire Loose Cannons crew. What a win. Fuck the Saints, of course. And then Greg the Cruz, $5 says, wish I could do more, but hope this helps. Hey, man, anything helps. You know, we love you guys. We feel the love. We're definitely licking wounds right now, all of us. But man, you know, what I tweeted right after the game, and I'm sure everybody shared the sentiment for the city, for the people in the Bay Area, for the entire Bay, for the people who care, man. Like this is going to get me through, you know, get me out of bed. You know what I mean? Like I just couldn't wait to get on the show with you guys and talk about it, man. But yeah, it's been rough for everyone, you know, everyone. So, you know, hats off to everybody out there doing their part to make things, to get things back to fucking normal. I'm walking through the grocery store earlier, bro. And you remember that scene in Castaway after he gets saved and he's sitting in that room with a glass of ice water and he's like, you know, I'm sitting here with a glass and it's got ice in it. That's how I felt earlier today. Like I felt so out of place after being with no power, no food, you know, just trying to fucking figure out out there scrounging for fuel like it's fucking Mad Max and shit. Been rough.
But you look like a guy who could probably live as a feral human being for quite a while. Right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel right in.
Yeah,
definitely.
But just, you know, to address the super chat. Sorry, I was grabbing my wife's phone. They got back from a walk. So I can see the chat now, guys. You know, which feels a little more normal for me because I'm usually interacting with you guys. Thank you guys for the super chats and thank you for the love. Thank you for all of it. Yeah, we needed it, and I feel you, Snake. I felt like a fucking animal when I didn't have power. It was insane. And to those people, I just got to say this. I'm not trying to make it somber and stuff, but fuck you people that are out there trying to take advantage of people that are in need. My neighbor bought a generator for double the price, and the guy offered him 2 gallons of gas and charged him $150 for 2 gallons of gas. Karma's a bitch.
Yep, so, karma's a bitch.
Facebook Marketplace, dude, got guys with generators that they don't end up needing then they're throwing in 2 cans of gas on top of it. $1,500 for a generator and 2 cans of gas.
Yeah.
Like, what? That's crazy.
Moving on. You know, karma's a bitch.
Speaking of Mad Max, though, how about the Bucs defense in that second half? Okay, getting after Rattler. I mean, they had 95 total yards in the second half, 3 3-and-outs. Okay, 48, I believe, of those yards came on the final drive of the game for them, which they didn't score on. So, and then obviously the 2 interceptions, the 3 sacks, they were just pressuring him nonstop, especially in that third and fourth quarter. And they shut them out, obviously, while the Bucs scored 27 points in that second half. Todd Bowles went in that locker room. I don't think he had to say much. He said he really didn't have to. The veterans kind of got everybody gathered up, and they just went out there and they did what they're supposed to do, man. And to see them do that and face the adversity and be resilient, especially after last week where they kind of fell apart and they should have won that game, could have won that game still in the last 2 minutes, but they weren't able to be resilient enough, and the Falcons end up winning, a heartbreaker. But to go out there and take advantage and bounce back and not fall apart, and not just from the offensive side, the defensive side of the ball. KJ Britt still looked way out of fucking whack at times, but when they figured it out and they got that pressure after him, and Todd just kept on dialing him up, dude. Didn't care who was standing where. We had Vita Vea and these guys playing outside linebackers position. It was crazy, dude. It was unbelievable. And we got to tip our hats to Todd Bowles being able to do that in the second half. I know it's a rookie quarterback, but you know how Stank is, Latte. Little dick energy, rookie quarterback on the road, New Orleans Saints. We were able to pull it off and do it with style, man. I really appreciate that.
I think what you said there, as far as Todd, and I think a lot of it is Todd. And, you know, I think Sammer said it last week. For those of you that are celebrating now, don't fucking come and jump off the fucking bandwagon or jump back on the bandwagon when you wanted him fired last week. I think Todd, this team has bought in to Todd. This team believes in Todd. They'll run through a fucking wall for him and the entire coaching staff. And I think it's a testament to the coaching staff. I think it's a testament to the team and the leaders on the team, the way they came out in that second half. That's resiliency. That's not showing fear or doubt in the face of adversity. That's insane. Like, as a Bucs fan myself, like, listen, we've all been there as fans where it's like, woe is me, here we go again. And I mean, Levante David said that one time on an opening fucking game against the Titans. Remember, he got a fucking penalty and he was like, here we go again. And then everything just went downhill. Like, it speaks a lot to the leadership of this team and everything that I think Sammer said a couple of years ago, that when Tom was here and Arians bringing that whole aura over the entire organization, where it's like, no. Well, we don't just tuck tail and run. We fucking face adversity in the face. And again, it's a testament. Teams like that can go far. Teams like that with talent can go even fucking further. So it's going to be interesting because there's a lot of good teams, but it's the ones that don't tuck and run when things get hard or things get tough. We saw it last year. We lost 6 out of 7, and we still fucking like. It's just a testament. Sorry, Stan. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You actually made part of my point for me. We've got those guys who have done it before. We've got Super Bowl rings in this locker room. We've got guys that learned from the GOAT, went through what we went through, proved the whole world wrong. Have been here since Todd was handed the team, and through the adversity of, all of a sudden being shoved into that role and then having to deal with all the craziness that happened with Tom and still in the division year after year after year. He's been steadfast, and that kind of trickles down the locker room. And by the way, they picked up a guy like Baker who isn't going to be shaken. He saw his career flash before his face, a year or so ago, and stood up and kept swinging. And now, I mean, look at the fucking guy, bro. Statistically one of the best in the league right now. And we're leaving points on the field, and he's leaving plays on the field sometimes. So putting his body in harm's way, man. So the leadership is here, and that's exactly why we ended up winning the game like we did, putting 51 up in a hostile environment off a disgusting loss in Atlanta the week before, when your family's displaced and your pets and your loved ones, and you don't know if you're going to have a home to go home to, and they're out there like, forged together in all of that uncertainty and fucking that's like, you can't buy that shit, dude.
That's movie shit, dude. That's that
it
movie.
Is. It really
movie
is
script shit. And Todd said it. I don't know if it was today's presser or yesterday after the game, but he said last year it took this same group of guys 6 games to figure out the resiliency and how to get through and how to bounce back, and we did. He said this time, instead of them turning this into a game, 2 games, 3 games, we learned it at halftime. We got ourselves together and we fucking fought back after it happened, immediately after it happened, within the moment of it happening. And that's what I kept saying last year, is like this 6-game, streak where we're going to turn around and put our shit together. When you did last year, I said, this is a major part of what's going to happen next year. Because now you got a team that's galvanized. They understand that we can go through some shit and come out on the other side. And now they have a different expectation of, we can't be like, it's got to take a lot of shit to fucking really beat the fuck out of us. And so that's what it turned into, man. And seeing that happen in real time like that at halftime, even Todd said it. Last year or teams before, we're probably done after that second quarter. The game's over. And yet they come out, they drop 51. They go 27-0 in the second half. No, nothing happens from the Saints offense the entire second half, dude. I mean, they were primed to have, one of those moments like Stank's always afraid of.
Listen, I'm seeing it a lot in the chat, and how refreshing is it, right? Like after living through the Lovie Smith and the Mike Smith shit, where it's like, oh no, the game plan is the game plan. It is what it is. Since Todd's been here, man, there are games and there are coordinators that at times have his number. That's undeniable, right? We can't argue that. But the overwhelming majority of the time, once Todd gets you, or once Todd adjusts, it's a wrap. Like it's done. That's it. So it's super refreshing to see that. I don't
think he adjusted, Latte. I
think he definitely adjusted. He definitely just because
I think they were doing what they were.
Oh, they talked about it on the broadcast, bro. He started peppering him with fucking blitzes, and he started bringing more heat, bro.
Lots of pressure in that second half, dude.
But he also relied on the front four a lot more than in the last 5 weeks. It's
in the first half.
No, just you saw them get pressure in the third and fourth quarter without blitzing at times. My point was, I think they just weren't executing in that first half enough. Because he was still blitzing them, they just weren't doing it. But he kind of did dump the entire bag in that fourth quarter and said, "Fuck it, let's just see what we got." And Kalai McCanty makes a big difference.
He does. You go ahead, Stank.
I was gonna say he downloaded exactly what the Saints' game plan was which was to boot the fuck out of us, the play action. He figured it out. We still can't guard the tight end down the middle for some reason. We have guys running wide open in the middle of the field, and eventually I get
to the quarterback in time. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but listen, you got to give the other team a little bit of credit. Spencer's not a great quarterback, but what he does well is exactly that. And
he might be good.
Yeah, he could eventually be good. He made some great plays out there. Fuck that guy, honestly, obviously. But and Latte, before I pass it off to you, we got more super chats. King James 813-999 says, First of all, fuck the Saints. Second of all, prayers to y'all. God bless. First time super chat. Dude, thank you. Thank you. You don't have to donate, but it goes a long way. Listen, I wouldn't be here had I not like fucking envelope after envelope after envelope, you know, and latte in Sammer's mailboxes, assuming it got you guys. So yeah, that sometimes you do have to pay your way in if you want to hear, you know, so.
I don't have an envelope. It's underwater right now, my mailbox. So I got to check that when I get airboated back in. But B-Shuck also.
They're going to airboat you back in?
I don't.
Man,
okay.
Hopefully they don't have to airboat you back in, right? Hopefully you just walk in.
B-Shuck with a $9.99 super chat says that, and I agree with him, honestly. Like some fan bases, you know, Falcons don't have any. He says, all I know is that I've gotten to see 2 Super Bowls. My team win 2 Super Bowls as an adult. And that just makes me smile. Feel another run coming soon. Yeah.
Hey, on that note.
And I think there was an adjustment, and somebody else put in there too, Sammer, that, you know, some of it was on special teams. Like if we don't allow that special teams touchdown, they don't get the momentum that they need. And then the 2 other scores were on short fields because of turnovers. Yeah, like it could have been 51-6 if we're being honest.
Our defense was playing well before that little hiccup happened with the punt return. With Sterling Shepard decided to go fucking brain dead for 2 entire possessions, and some of it was a little bullshit with the penalties with the refs. But aside from that, if we're really being honest, that second quarter they shut down the entire Saints offense for 3 quarters. And if we don't give them those 2 short fields, they probably shut them. It's probably 7 points the entire day. Let's say they get the punt return, 7-51.
Yeah.
51 could have been 65. Who knows?
Okay, so Sam, I got to address this because every fucking week Jonas Steck was saying it, and I think he's right, because Bruce Arians would never, like, Stank, use fucking matches, bro. Stop with the gas lighter, bro. You don't light a cigar with a gas fucking lighter. Like, stop it. It's just not correct. Yeah. I can't even think of the word. Sorry,
Latte. You're expecting someone who has no class to operate
to use
with
class.
Okay, he doesn't have any. Doesn't have it. He just doesn't have.
Can you imagine him using that sitting with Bruce? Like Bruce would like what?
If he did this around me, I would knock the fucking cigar out of his hand.
No, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't even let him do it.
I'm supporting the butane industry, and I only buy the finest butane, and I get
butane industry.
I get it through your people, Sammer. So
no, I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I mean I get it, but next topic we got to hit. Okay, and because this is weird. I have to ask you guys this question honestly, and I wrote the topic out, and I started thinking this should just be a question. It should be. I wrote 2024 Bucs team is starting to find its identity, and I called it resilient and physical. We know that they're resilient. We just spent fucking 20 minutes talking about that. But do you guys think this team is actually becoming a physical team? We kind of said it against the Lions. We said it in the beginning against the Washington Commanders game. That then it kind of went away. We felt a little soft. I'm really starting to think that this team is a physical team, which is tough to say, but we got Gadecki back this week, and it felt like we were a physical offensive line that's starting to figure shit out now. Obviously, we ran for fucking 200-something yards, so I believe we are. But could this be our identity moving forward, Latte?
Hold on, before Latte goes, Bry with the chat of the night said Stank only uses butane because he's in the house and his car lighter isn't an option. Listen, bro, I do have a car that has a car lighter. I still have one.
Jesus.
I really do. Yeah. You got to heat that bitch up.
Oh, we're getting spammed. We're getting spammed. Kick him out, Sam. We're getting spammed in the chat. Please kick him out, Sam.
I can't
even do it either because
Jose Rios with a $10 super chat. Sam, I'll address what you just said. Sorry. It has always been bigger than football, family. Shout out to y'all for bringing us together in good times and bad times. Fuck the Saints. Big hug to you and the family, Latte. Thank you, Josue. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I've known Josue for a long time.
Westside Sports also. Did you get the Westside Sports one before that?
The West Side Sports before that.
He said
West Side Sports says $4.99 super chat. This win is the type of win that makes the league take notice and say we don't want to see them. It just refreshed and moved it. Sorry guys, we don't want to see them in the playoffs. This Bucs team is dangerous. This Bucs team is dangerous. I'm not saying that because of my bias. I'm just being honest with you. We have a if everybody's healthy and we click, you know, we're Yaya Diaby coming into his own away from having a Super Bowl contending defense. Legitimately.
We have a legit edge.
Paul is coming along. Can see if he stays healthy. I mean, you saw what he means to this team, and Vita still bench pressing 2 grown men into backfields is insane. pick your poison, and it makes everybody's job easier. We're Yaya Diaby and a middle linebacker that can cover. Love you, Britt. Love your passion, but we're a middle linebacker away from having a Super Bowl contending defense. And listen, not everybody has that, right? I see Postal Lopez. Go get this guy. Go get that guy. Like, if other teams could, they would do it too. It's not that fucking easy to do that. Like, you do what you got to do with the guys that you have.
You might.
I believe in the room.
You might not need that middle linebacker. You might not need him, man. If you can get that edge rush, and the Bucs pass rush can be dominant week in and week out without relying on Todd Bowles' exotic blitzes. Sometimes you got to put guys back in coverage because you have to. And this week against the Saints, obviously banged up O-line, rookie quarterback, doesn't recognize stuff like a vet would recognize stuff, and especially when they're blitzing. But they were able to get some pressure up there. Hall, massive surprise. We talked a bunch of shit about this man, and he is
2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row.
And he's making plays. Even when he's not getting sacks, he's still around the quarterback. Yaya Diaby is a fucking ass hair away from a sack every fucking pass play, it feels like. And he's just not there. He's top 5 in pressure rate across the league. I know you need sacks, but he's right there, man. And those are going to come in bunches. It just, I remember Simeon Rice had a season like that. We had like 5-6 game stretch where he just could not get to the quarterback. Then he just exploded. You keep doing this, and especially with Kalijah Kancey back now, those guys have nowhere else to go. They're going to kind of start falling into his lap a little bit easier, and he's going to start racking them up. This defense is getting.
You just said it. The strength of this defensive line is in the middle, and the outside guys being young and still kind of cutting their teeth in the league still have some time to get some momentum out there. I think Braswell had that yesterday too, which was nice to see. So
he's come on too. The last 2 weeks, he's come on. He's been making plays.
And we'll eventually get Savate back as well. He's if you could combine Britt and stay together, you got he's not out for the season.
He's probably going to be out for the season.
Okay.
Says who? Where'd y'all read that at?
Okay, bro, you're right, Sank. I'm asking. You're right.
I'm asking.
I don't know.
Why would you want me to answer that question, bro?
All you got to say is, I know. You don't have to give me your where you know.
Listen,
thanks for sharing with your brother, though. Thank you for doing that.
I'm praying for the kid.
Very hush hush.
I'm praying for the kid, bro. Dave White T says, here's a serious question. How do the Bucs beat the Ravens? We'll get to that on Thursday's episode. But listen, the Ravens, their identity is to run the ball. If they don't run the ball and you want to drop Lamar back 40 times, go ahead. But if we do what we're supposed to do and we do what our strength is, which is to stop the run, what Stanch said right up the middle, I think we're going to be just fine. And Bishop says, is Hainsey better at center right now? We addressed that earlier, Bishop. Sammer had, behind closed doors. And even I think on the podcast, I said that maybe the best thing to do would have been to start Hainsey at center and start Barton at left guard and let him work his way from left tackle in college to left guard, then to center. It looked pretty fucking good yesterday. I think, Sammer, I'm not going to say that they're going to do it, but I'm not saying that. But this may crack the door where they say, you know what? Like, it was an injury. It's kind of,
So I was gonna ask you guys this question at the end of the show. But the thing is, they did not train him at left guard at all in camp. So that almost always will take that scenario completely off the table. They're not going to just throw him to the Wolves. Not to say that he's not capable. He's not smart. He's a Duke kid. We know he's smart. He played center at the flip of a dime that first year as a freshman. So it's obviously that's college ball though. But my whole thing was, let's get our best 5 out there and let him work his way to center because he hadn't played it in 2 years. And when you go back and watch this game, I'm not saying Hainsey's an all-pro center, but if you go back and watch it, and thank you AQ Shipley who sent me a couple of clips late last night, Hainsey played it better because he's experienced in terms of getting back far enough to see what's happening in front of him. Whereas Barton is not doing that naturally yet as a center, so he's not seeing things happening in front of him. He's seeing things happening next to him, where you're going to get beat, where a guy like Grady, Jarrett's going to, embarrass you. And he had a bad game in that Atlanta game. So all I was saying is that maybe it made sense to put out your best 5, let him play left guard, get acclimated to the NFL, and then slide him over to center. Made a lot more sense because he wasn't a center coming out of college. But I'm me. I don't fucking know this shit. And these guys, Spytech, the guys that coach, they're going to know better, obviously. But it was refreshing to see that there was not a lot of pressure in Baker's lap yesterday. And the run game up the middle felt healthier. Some of that is calling things better. Some of it is the Saints not wanting to tackle. And some of it is, them being tired. They were out there. I think they were out on the field for like 80 plays against the Chiefs. 3-4 days later, they were facing us. Another 60 handful of plays. Like, they were tired on top of that. So it all was like kind of perfect. But this kind of leads me into what we were talking about with Kansas and them. Do you guys feel like, I think we're, we've weathered a storm of fucking injuries up to this point, but I feel like we're now starting to kind of get healthy at the right time. Izzy should be back. We've got Gadecki back. Obviously, Jamel Dean went down, but Funderburk did come in and play well enough. Jamel Dean will probably be back. It didn't look like it was a big deal. So, like, are we feeling like this team is getting healthy at the right time through this gauntlet part of our schedule before we kind of slide into what I would call the easy part of it?
First, I want to talk and speak on what you just did in regards to, bringing in Hainsey as the starter now and moving the rookie to left guard.
Not saying we should do it now at all. No, I didn't say that.
Well, you also got to look at the quality of opponent, right? It's not like Hainsey was facing, that Atlanta front. No, you didn't actually, but
I said some of it was them getting tired. Some of it was them not really showing much effort. But
Hainsey, Hainsey played inspired football. I tweeted out before the game that you're going to see a guy who, like, he wants his career. He wants to be a starter in the league. He got his shit taken from him or given to the rookie. And, and Graham has played good in spots and struggled in spots. So I'm not saying it's not a possibility. Guard is really the easiest position to flex to if you're going to have to move from one position to the next. Has the size for it. But it, takes your depth piece away at center. So you could eventually slide Graham back to center, but I don't know that they're going to be playing musical chairs. They're probably going to stick with Ben, who's okay, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
He played a good game this past Sunday. He didn't play a bad game. One of his better games. He's just up and down, but it just, it was one of those hindsights 2020 kind of, you look back at it, maybe it would have made a little bit of sense to just get your best 5 out there, but you also don't know how much of that was Liam Cohen calling a better game. Liam Cohen calling better run designs for the linemen as opposed to just trying to run zone like he was the first 3 or 4 weeks. And obviously just running the ball to run the ball. Sometimes you have to do it.
I don't want to get too far away from the subject because we have to get through some of these because the Monday night game is about to start and we're losing some people as far as viewers. 100%. Listen, Sammer mentioned, are we getting healthy at the right time? Yes, we are getting healthy at the right time at certain positions, at key ones. But we didn't leave New Orleans unscarred, right? Like Bull said it today that some guys haven't been back in the building yet, but obviously there's something wrong with 13. We know that. I think Stank or one of you guys tweeted that you could see him grimacing the entire game. He was out there as bait. Dog, right? Because he could have just easily said, take me out, I'm done. He stayed out there as bait and he moved the defense's way for sure. So we didn't get out of there unscathed, but yes, we're getting key positions back where we didn't have much depth. So yeah, that's my answer to that. We're getting healthier, but it's addition, subtraction. It's all the same shit. It's the war of attrition, man. It's the NFL. So it is what it is.
We also have that extra day. We've got the Monday night game as opposed to Sunday. So Mike, but hey, listen, Mike not being on the field there, getting double covered on that pass to Sean Tucker that ends up being a touchdown. That doesn't happen with Mike on the sideline.
No, doesn't happen.
They had 2 people devoted to him and he barely even ran a route, dude. And Sean Tucker's just all by himself in cover 1. That's a touchdown if you don't have a guy on him, and they didn't have a hat on him, and that's what that's what happened. So
we hit the next subject line, but I'll address this too because some people are concerned about Mike and his 1,000 yards. I think he's a little over 300 yards, like 308 yards so far. He was at 250 in 2020 at this point, and he was at like 280 or 290 in 2022 or something like that, and he still got it. He's due for monster games. That's just what he does. I believe in it. We all believe in it. You should all believe in the chat. He'll get his. It's just what he does.
Final topic. All right. I feel like this man has earned himself his own topic as well as kind of like 2, on top of that. But Tyke Smith, what a fucking dog, dude. Holy shit. It feels like the Bucs have drafted just a special kid, man. And I said it all offseason. You guys saw how excited I was over his draft pick over maybe anybody else in the entire group that we got because I said this guy is exactly what Todd would want. He can play him, and Todd said it today. He said we play him at linebacker, we play him at safety, we play him at corner, we play him at nickel. He does so much for us, and he's a rookie. He says he's headier than Izzy, who also was doing it as a undrafted free agent rookie last year. So all of that, like this dude has been absolutely outside of the Atlanta game, which was the worst performance so far of his young career. But to have the bounce back that he had yesterday, which should have been 2 forced fumbles, by the way, with the interception, 2 pass breakups. I believe it was 3.7 QBR on any passes he allowed yesterday. This kid is a fucking dog, dude. I mean, not just because he's from Georgia, but an absolute dog. 5 tackles, 2 passes defense, 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble. That ends up being the scoop and score.
I'm giving him the other forced fumble. Sorry. Refs got it wrong. It was easy.
They did.
I got it wrong. I think you guys saw it earlier. This is a momentous day. Outside of us beating the dog, I don't think we're making it enough about what we just did to the fucking Saints.
Yeah.
All right, go fuck yourself, Saints. Listen, I really hope that's it for you guys, right? Now, not only do we embarrass you and put up a fucking 50 burger and just destroy any shred of confidence you had left. Sorry, but Rattler's not the guy yet. And now we're handing it to Sean Payton to just actually finish you guys off, which is going to be hilarious to fucking watch.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's going to be really funny. Really, really funny to see him put the death blow on your organization. But back to Tyke. Momentous day. The first ever Golden Foot Trophy Award goes to Tyke Smith. I awarded it to him earlier. He hasn't said anything yet, but listen, Latte, you're in the building. I'm going to the trophy's a real thing. I'm going to give it to you to give to him. And I really hope he puts it like on his mantle somewhere nice around his family, because like you're never going to, he's the first one ever. The first one ever.
I'm not taking that thing inside to the locker room, bro.
All right. I'll text Jason then.
Yeah, he's probably not going to respond to you, just like he has never responded to you.
I will say this. Shout out to the front office again. We did not take Branch the previous year, and we were all upset. It is what it is. There's a reason. There's a process. But damn it, did we make it right by taking Tyke, who is everything that Branch is and more. Absolutely special kid. Absolutely special. So super excited to have him on the team.
What's going to be...
And I can't believe I'm addressing this, Sam. I'm sorry, but not in this chat, but on Twitter and on DMs. Some people are just gross fucking human beings. Nobody on this fucking podcast, because I heard Stank going to rant there. Nobody on this podcast, I speak for all of us or anybody associated with us that I would call a friend or an acquaintance or anything, would take it past football and fucking clown about Katrina. I got fucking sick DMs laughing about what happened in Florida.
Who said that?
Fuck you guys. Just sick fucking individuals, man. So nobody we're associated with.
Yeah,
we can fuck around. We can talk about all that, but nobody. I did, and I was DM'd and whatever.
Really?
Nobody we associate with.
I didn't know that shit.
Are going to cross the lines of that. It's football. It's between the lines. It's fun.
8-year-olds. They can go.
This was honestly one of the quietest fuck the Saints weeks I've ever had.
Yeah,
honestly.
I haven't seen
that. They didn't really attack like they usually. They weren't doing much. I mean, obviously after the game, not a single peep out of any of them. Some of them were even like, "Hey, you guys are helping us out. Hopefully, we can fire this guy now." This whole deal, but yeah, the Katrina thing. I mean, people are stupid.
Remember, I think the stream is down. By the way,
the stream is not down.
No,
I'm watching it on my phone.
It is on my team. See, look, stream stopped on the chat, and the bots are going fucking crazy in the chat room. Sorry, guys, we're not at full strength. This is a skeleton crew. If you guys are still watching, yeah, the stream's down.
It says it's fine on my end too.
Mine's black.
I still see it.
Anybody else see the stream right now?
Yeah, can you see the stream? Comment.
Let us know.
I just saw 4 straight losses of the Saints from the Go Bucs. I see it. It's on iOS. I see it.
All right. So anyway, I mean, I think we've hit everything. Tyke Smith, dog. Sean Tucker, Bob Hennessy. Also, kind of, I don't want to say footnotes, but honorable mentions as dogs yesterday. Sean Tucker obviously was ridiculous. Played his ass off. Hit the line hard. Broke tackles, did everything you expect from a guy who hasn't gotten an opportunity, finally gets his opportunity, eats like a dog. And like I said, Bob Hennessy, man, hats off. Bob Hennessy steps in. What an amazing guy to have on a team, to be a backup center, come in, play his ass off, do his job, and keep the train moving, basically, dude. No hiccups.
Hey. And Sam Revive said this over and over again, even Sting to a certain extent. I know, Bucky. Sean, all that, great, phenomenal running, stupid. It was awesome. But if you can't pass protect, they're not just throwing Rashad out. I don't want people getting pissed off. I don't want to see people on Twitter tagging us. Why the fuck is Rashad running? Rashad he's still useful. He still has a place. Let's see what happens when he comes back and he's healthy. But as long as Sean cannot pass protect, they're not going to put Rashad on the bench. I'm just letting you guys know that.
Hey, listen, That was the best blocking.
I don't think anybody thinks that's going to happen.
That was the best blocking they've had all season from a run standpoint. They were really good. They got better from the Atlanta game as well. They were better in the Atlanta game. They had a better output as well. And then they're calling a better
in which Rashad looked good, by the way, too.
Yeah, and they're calling a better run game. There's nothing that says that Rashad playing in that game doesn't do similar to what those two. You can't tell me two running backs did really, really well on accident. They were wide open holes. They blocked well. They schemed well. They out-physicaled the Saints team. And again, like I said earlier, the Saints did not want to tackle people in that fourth quarter. They had given up. We'd taken their will, which I don't think I've ever seen in these Bucs and Saints games. Yeah, we've beaten them before, but we've never gotten them to where they've just given up. They gave up yesterday. They were like, fuck this. We're not winning. We don't want to be here.
I think our boy
Jonas, we're aware, bro. It's a miracle we're even recording a show right now. Okay, yeah. We get it. The stream isn't perfect. I just got power back fucking 8 hours ago. Latte's
internet shoddy.
Latte's somewhere. Sammer's in the
I'm gonna bunker somewhere. I'm gonna bunker.
Relax. Okay,
yeah, I'm on like my backup internet. I'm barely getting 1 terabyte over 1 terabyte. Okay, I'm making sacrifices too here. I mean, it's not easy.
But I think shout out to Corey Richards, I was going to say, our boy from Nashville. He said it best. He said, I don't even want to talk shit because every time we play these guys, they turn into the fucking 86 Bears, whatever the fuck is the famous Bears defense, right? 85. And 85 Bears, and we just took the life out of them to hang many points on them. I think they were a little bit shell shocked. Like, what the fuck?
Did you see Lattimore's face on the sideline?
Yes, he's not used to that.
Did you see? By the way, Cam, that sad little clown face.
My favorite part of Bucky's run, their stiff arm. It's going to be on angry runs on myself. I don't know if he won or not, but it was watching Cam's old ass get juked so bad that you see him fall. Was that not the slowest fall you ever seen in life? Yeah, he fell for like 5 minutes. He just kept falling. Bro, it kept falling.
Latte, you didn't watch the game, Latte, but he was absolutely an old man playing football yesterday.
Mm-hmm. He got so lucky with that stupid interception.
He did nothing. He did nothing.
It fell into his lap.
He wasn't pushing. He was just standing around. Like, Stank, you coached Pee Wee football. You know those kids that just don't want to be there and they're just kind of they're just doing this. Yeah, that's all he was doing, dude. And he knew he couldn't do it. And it didn't matter which side he was on. But having Luke Gedeke come back and shit on him was awesome too.
Yeah, we got another super chat from B Shuck 999 says, "Who would have thought, right? Like 2 years ago, who would have thought we would miss and cheer the return of Luke Gedeke? Unreal. I mean, facts.
Absolutely. Yeah.
People that got gone.
Absolutely. So hats off to Luke Gedeke, okay? Who, by the way, was wearing a fucking ridiculously ugly. Yeah.
Where it's a different career, bro. I'm good with it.
I'm good with it. Yeah. I'm just saying it was really hilarious how bad the color is on it.
Tamer, can't you get with any of your factories, any of your sweatshops, and like get a better version of that, dude?
Did you just say sweatshop, bro?
I misspoke. Don't you have access to a higher quality Guardian cap? Because that thing.
Listen, all we got to do is get that thing in my hands and we'll get it painted to match the color right. We'll get it to look good. We'll decal it up. All right. We'll get you right, Luke. Don't worry. But whatever color that was, he got a light gray Guardian cap on. It was just, I get it. Hey, whatever gets him out, he's got to wear 4 of them. And then also that helmet that, what's his name? The Bills wide receiver from the 90s used to wear. Trasker, was that his last name?
Steve Tasker.
Tasker. If you got to wear that thing to play, I'm good with it.
He was a safety, by the way.
Bry says, with the exception of a lucky being in the lucky place, I love this name for him. Jordan has been seen in the Bucs game.
Wow, how
since he said back to where they've been. I love that. Yeah. We need to make a shirt of Jordan. Yeah. And then somebody here said,
a man in my late 40s, where my hips just kind of lock up, I think I have some agility. Don't have it. That's exactly what he looked like out there. Zero agility. None.
He had a little cant in him.
Jordan.
Can't. Yeah. Hey, I used to call Chris Canty on purpose, and people would
remember
like,
that.
Oh, it's Chris Canty. I'm like, nah, it's Chris Canty.
They also, Tony Tega says, after watching the fourth quarter of that game, I'm changing Lattimore's name to Business Decision.
Yeah,
there's a name I have seen in a dog.
I love you guys.
Ren Dax is in the chat.
Ren Dax?
On Ren?
Holy shit.
A lot of people don't know Ren and Sam are best friends. Off the field, they hang out all the time. Ren actually taught Sammer how to cook. So anytime you see Sammer making meat dicks, which he loves to tweet out his meat dicks, Ren taught him those recipes.
Hey, those meat dicks are good, bro. Pause. He's talking about your shish kebabs, man. They're big old fatty, fucking juicy, fucking
I go
meat.
girthy.
You only eat phallic.
If you're going meat dicks, you got to go girth, right? I mean, why go meat dicks if you're not going to go girthy?
We can clown about Rendax, but real talk, he gave me a little 4-on-1 on some short ribs that I made. He said, "Hey man, add a little bit of curry coconut milk." I said, "What?" I did gas. So shout out to you, Ren. It's been a long time.
One of the godfathers of Buccaneer podcasting. Good to see you.
Facts.
All right, boys.
Facts.
It's Monday Night Football time for a lot of these people, and myself included. I'm chomping at the bit to watch Aaron Rodgers and the Jets fucking lose again. So, again, reminder:
Thank you
if you are
guys.
new, hit the subscribe button. We absolutely appreciate all the super chats. We're gonna figure out a way to maybe come up with some sort of fundraiser for a bunch of the people in Tampa Bay over the next couple weeks. Figure something out like that. In the meantime, hit that like button if you haven't. Leave us a comment,
Samer.
and please hit that subscribe button if you are new.
Samer.
Stinker.
51, bro. 51. 51.
51 though.
51.
51 though.
51 though.
51 in the Superdome. In the Pooper Dome.
In the dome?
51?
51, bro.
I mean, what? 51? And then you let us score 27 in the second half. Okay. And we had over 300 yards of offense in the second half. I mean, come on, dude.
Right. I got to go for real, boys. And thank you, Bucs Nation, for all the love.
Not even a fight.
Thank you, Bucs Nation,
Love
for all
you
the
guys.
love.
Love everybody.
All of it. Thank you, guys.
Go Bucs. Fuck the Saints for life.
Yep.
Just,
subscribe, and leave us a comment. And we'll see you guys on Thursday as we get ready for Monday Night Football against the Ravens, who we'll discuss at that time. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. Later.
Go Bucs.
It's kickoff, set it off, go to Vegas, bet it all, put it on the Bucs win, whoever they gon' play gon' fall. Don't say I ain't told y'all, loose cannons gon' fold y'all. Yeah, the Heat be 9-3, but it gets real cold in the fall. That's when the season start, Bucs come in 40 hard, win after win, ripping the division apart. Panthers, they pussycats, Falcons got bird flu, take the Ravens and Dolphins and open up a zoo. Cause one thing's for sure, better than the Bucs, they show lane. And every day in Tampa Bay, we say fuck the Saints. We in Tampa Bay, baby.